Hey, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, the streaming idiot. I am here. I am so excited. This is a great show today. I mean, I already know it's a great show. It's not a great show because of me. It's a great show because of a really terrific product that we've got here in the studio together. Today, and because of our guest who represents that product. We have got the XKE-124 T-bar USB controller here, and I'll give you a quick shot of it right there. And this is live. This is live. And we've got Dan Slider from PI Engineering here in the studio too. And if I can find, hold on a second. Let's go back to this button. There is a button here. Oh yeah, here it is. That'll take us to Dan. And let me get Dan's audio back on, and we'll be ready to go here. Dan, are you there?
I'm here, Tom. How are you?
All right, we got it. Welcome. I am so delighted to have you on the show today. Thank you for taking time out to come on.
Oh, you're entirely welcome. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, you're very gracious because, if you're here, this is kind of like bottom feeding. This is where all the streaming lowlifes show up. I mean, look at these folks in the chat room. You just...
I think if our product belongs anywhere, it's here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, Dan, you and I have chatted briefly, and we've exchanged emails, and you guys sent me this marvelous device here that I have had so much fun playing with. And it's got rows and rows of buttons, probably 124. I haven't counted them, but since that's in the model number, we would guess 124.
It is 124, yes.
And of course the great T-bar, which for folks that come from that background, they're just going to love this. And let's go back to the keyboard for a second. And Dan, I don't know if this is part of the standard pack, but you guys sent a whole bunch of extra keys with this. We've got number keys that can do things. We've got pre-printed keys over here. We've got double keys, so you can set up for double keys. And then my favorite probably are these black keys, and these are kind of fill-ins that fill in between the keys so that you can get something that actually looks like this from this keyboard, so that you've got something that's totally customized for what you want for a fraction of the cost, I would think. Dan, tell me what your customers are saying.
Well, it's been fascinating to me, Tom, that we've been making X keys since '97, and we had been going to SIGGRAPH, which is like a graphic artist show, and people kept coming up to the booth and saying, "Oh, we saw you at NAB," which was a mystery to us because we weren't repping at NAB at that time, and we thought, well, we better go to NAB. And what we found when we got there is that there were a lot of vendors around the show that had X keys in their booth. They were using them for display or for controlling things that we weren't even aware of. And broadcast market's been terrific for us. But then this year I saw something entirely new, that people would walk by our booth and look at the X keys and just keep walking. And all of a sudden, when we had a T-bar on this unit, then the light bulb went off. And they stopped seeing us as a keyboard and started seeing X keys as a control surface or control panel, which is what we were intended for anyway.
Great distinction.
So yeah, this this is opening up a lot of things for us. We got another wonderful surprise at NAB this year when vMix wrote our products into their software. We hadn't even heard of them before, and they were about 3 booths away from us, and we said, "Oh yeah, we support X keys, of course we do." And then I ran over to Martin with this T-bar unit because it was brand new, and his eyes lit up, and he made it his find of the show. And we sent one down to Australia, and he wrote it in like within a week. So that's been just a great, even if nothing else, it's been a great showcase for us to say, hey, this is how this thing works. And here's somebody that made it work really well.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. I mean, and folks, it probably took me, I don't know, 20 minutes to do everything I did this morning. I mean, it was as simple as plugging this guy in USB. Now, I did have to look up a little bit on getting the T-bar right. and Dan probably got a flurry of emails from me saying, "How do you do this?" Oh, never mind. As I found out, there's a particular control that you want to do to do this. It's not your basic fade control, because you have the ability to go backwards and forwards with it, which I just love. I'd never use, but I just love it. I mean, technically, I love the geeky part of it. And then the other thing that was fun to do, and I'm going to show folks, Dan, you don't mind, we're going to do this live, and we'll show you just how fun it. We've got this really cool, this high-tech tool right here that allows us to reach out and pluck off a key in its entirety. So pow, we've got this little key right here, the keycap, and underneath it, see if we can split it out with my fingernail here. It splits apart, and we can put in an insert that would be programmed or pre-printed right there, and I can slip it right back on the key. Now I've done it with the key off because I found it just a little easier to get it just centered right on there. And I can mash the key back down there, and pow, I've got a custom key. Now I can also, and this was fun because it took me forever to figure out, and I finally had to go online, and Dan had a helpful tutorial there that says I can actually pull the center of this key thing out. Just
be careful there, Tom.
Pow, there it is. Oh, I've done a bunch of them, Dan, and I haven't broken anything yet. And in its place, I can put this little guy, and he's got a couple of tabs on the bottom. A key blocker, thank you. Yeah. And pow, we have customized the keyboard right there in that much time. And we've got a couple of parts left over that we can put back in the bag so that we don't lose them. And we can also pull off a key and put on a custom key just as easily as we saw that just a second ago. We'll pull that keycap off, we'll put another keycap on, and then pow, we're going to go into vMix and make it do something. And it's that easy. It is that easy. Yeah. I mean, Dan, am I missing something?
No, you got it right there. And Tim from vMix did a wonderful job of posting a little tutorial for us, which we have on our site, and it's also on the vMix site. And are you going to show us a little bit later how easy that is to map to a function, Tom?
Sure. In fact, we'll do it right now.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. And I did tease with Dan a little bit before the show that this was going to be the next product they were going to bring out. So we'll go ahead and get that one out of the way.
The USB Light Bright. Yeah, that's coming.
Right. Before I forget. Okay, let's go to a desktop shot here. And we are going to map that number 6 key. Remember the number 6 key that we just put right there? We're going to map that to something. What can we map it to? I know what we'll map it to. We'll map it to some audio so that when we press that 6 key, it plays our theme music. So let's go here, and we're going to go to the little View Shortcuts button in the bottom right-hand corner, and that'll pop up our window. And this is the shortcuts, and it also will take us to the web controller, which will allow us to do all our shortcuts on this PC or another PC from a remote location. That's a lot of fun. But let's go to Edit, and this will be the list of all the shortcuts that I've got set up right now for this keyboard. And so we'll just simply add one. And one of the beautiful things that Martin has done, this is Martin Sinclair, my 19th cousin, of course, with vMix, the CEO of vMix, is he's got the Find button up here. So we don't have to know what how to address any of these buttons on the keyboard. I just press the Find button, and then I'm going to press the number 6 key, and it's going to tell us the value of that number 6 key. So we've already identified the number 6 key, and the function is going to be to, let's see, we're going to play. So let's come down here. And we're going to play and pause. So the first time we press that button, it'll play it. The second time, it'll pause it. And we will find from this list, Fresh and Fun. That's the name of our theme music. So if we've done this correctly, and I'm just pressing OK there, and I'll go back to this shot of the two of us. If I've done it correctly, I'm going to press the keyboard button and let's see. You hear anything? It'd help if I turned up the volume. Let's try it again. How about that?
Presto.
Wow. I mean, that even impresses me. That and
Martin did just a terrific job of integrating that in a hurry.
He really did. He really did. And I've got all these extra keys here. This is great. It's like Christmas with lights and toys and little parts. And, these are little parts. So if you've got little ones, don't let the little ones near the little parts. But, okay, Dan, but this just represents the XKE-124 just represents the tip of the iceberg for you guys, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's actually the most expensive control surface that we make for the public.
Really?
And it's $749. But when you compare that to most other mixers in this category are the 2000 and up range.
Yep.
Most people are pretty happy with that. And Tom, yeah, we did send you a bunch of extras that your ordinary guy off the street would have to add in our accessories.
Gotcha.
On our website.
Okay.
The different colored keycaps and the blockers and that kind of thing. But
okay,
those are all available.
Gotcha. So you could, if you want to go to the trouble to customize it as completely as we saw in some of the other pictures, then you're going to spend a few more bucks getting the extra things. And if you really want to go the extra mile, you're going to get some custom keycaps made. You can't really see these keycaps right here. But heck, we could just pull one off and show you, because I haven't gotten it really programmed for anything. Well, it's probably easier said than done, huh? The double ones. There we go.
Yeah, the double ones are a little tougher to get off.
That came with the set, and it says clear, and there's another one that's now were these extra, or do these come with the basic unit?
No, those are all extra.
Okay.
What comes with a unit is 124 of those transparent or illegible keys that you were showing us before. Yeah, it comes fully populated, and then we have those two tall keys and a wide key that come along with that, just to show you what we can do.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now the wide key, did I put that on right?
Yep.
Okay. And the tall keys are on right?
Tall keys.
Because there's a little divot at the bottom of it. Okay.
Little divot at the bottom. Yeah, kind of helps you orient where you are on it.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So if I wanted, if I were a streaming entrepreneur, and I wanted to say, okay, I'm going to map this out so that it can be used with vMix for a talk show, and so I'm gonna have some custom keycaps designed, and then I'm going to remarket it as a vMix talk show controller. I could do that, couldn't I?
You could certainly do that.
How about that?
We have been experimenting with an acrylic ink printer, so we can make custom keys. As with a lot of things like this, the setup is a really a big kind of barrier of getting the artwork in and getting the printer all set up.
Sure.
So we ask anybody that's doing that to order a minimum of 10 sets of keys.
That's reasonable.
And with the ink and everything, they go for about $1 a key. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So if I've got 30 keys, that's $30 times 10. I've got $300. Wow.
Yeah, or if you want to do the whole thing, it's $124 to add on to that.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, when I first looked at this and I saw 124 keys, I was really intimidated. I thought, there's no way my fat fingers are going to find the right key. But then I realized that we can box off things and use larger keys, suddenly that worry just went away. And I said, I can do this. Wow.
Yeah, that's the real utility in this, is having all that room to make different groups of keys and, group like keys together, like a preview or a live bank of keys, or you can control other things with it as well. It was really interesting to me to see what Tim did with it. I don't know if you've been watching the vMix live fun time show, but Tim doesn't come out of a broadcasting background, so his idea of the way things should be organized is completely different than anybody else that would approach it.
Yes.
And that's part of the fun of this is you don't have to be bound to that traditional method. You can do whatever works well for you.
Well, and that's what's happening in the streaming business. I think you really put your finger on it. Is that there's some people that are approaching streaming, from a broadcasting standpoint. They know how things are supposed to work, and then there are idiots like me that are approaching it from the grassroots that say, "Hey, I took a bunch of pictures of soccer games on my camera and put them on the internet, and suddenly, before I know it, I'm streaming soccer, and now I've got a streaming show."
Right.
And so, I'm not coming from anything other than, golly, does it feel right? Does it, if I want it to look like ESPN or I want it to look like Fox News, what's going to make it do that? And I don't know how you're supposed to do it. So as a result, sometimes I do it the long way. Sometimes I find a quicker way than the big guys may be doing. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, and with programs like vMix, he has so much flexibility in this that you can do things like activate and mute mics and other things like that the broadcast guys would never have done from a switcher.
Oh, yeah, I could have done that. I could have muted your mic right from the thing. There's some guests on here where I want one of those big fat buttons for the mute mic. But Dan, you're good. You're good. We'll just have a little small mute Dan button. Tell me about some of the other things that you guys make.
Well, like I said, this is one of our bigger ones. We make a lot of smaller controllers. Probably our most popular one is we call XKE-124. It's a 4x6 grid of keys. All of them have the same capabilities. They're all in vMix. And you can put tall and wide keys on it or key blockers if you just want to make a simple little switcher. And then we have variations on that. If you go to our website, which is xkeys.com, you can see all the full product line of things we make. We are located in Williamston, Michigan. We're right down the street from Michigan State University. Not that other university that's in Michigan. We don't want to talk about those guys. We design and support and sell everything from this little office here in Michigan. Electronics are made by a manufacturer in Taiwan that we've had a long-standing relationship with and we know makes good quality stuff. And some of the things like Room can hear me too.
Okay. Dan, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tom. Yep.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Not sure what happened, but we got knocked out there.
Yep. Hey. You don't want to just look at me.
Well, let's see if we can't get back where we were. My apologies to all the folks at home that were watching us. We got knocked out, and we were kind of afraid that might happen. And so if you'll give me just a second, we'll get Dan kind of configured back in. We might have to do it quick and dirty just to finish out the rest of this show. Let's see. Now let's do this. My apologies. My apologies. Let's see if we can pull Dan in pretty easily. For those of you watching at home, let's see if we can show you what we're doing here. And if I'd have been smart, I would have saved all these. all these presets, and so we're going to work on this one with the multi-view and see if we can put Dan in there. And that's going to be this one. There he is right there. Oops.
Here I am.
And 1 second. We'll try to get him. He's only half a man right now. So
half a man, yeah. Oh, that feels better.
That's my kind of.
Oh, you're half a man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. There we go. All right. That's what we're and it's not perfect, folks, but you know, we're kind of the ox is in the ditch, so we're going to do what we can.
I'm not Jason Fulbrook. Just to make that clear.
Oh yeah. Golly. Yep, let's update that too. That's we don't want to do that. Jason's a good guy, but that's not you. That's right. Let's make that right. Nope.
While you're working on it, I'm seeing some questions on the chat about UK distribution, and guys, we're working on that. It's not easy. The demand really hasn't been there up to this point for us to get a full distributor who's willing to accept pallets of X keys that come in on a freighter, and that's where we'd like to get. But all I can tell you is that we're still working on it. I think we've made a little bit of progress with keyboard specialists. We are shipping pallets over from here, which helps them a little bit, helps them get the price down a little bit. But it's not easy to get things over the pond here. I've had a number of customers come up to us at NAB and buy things to put in their suitcase to take home. So that's certainly an option for you. If you're coming to NAB, I guess that is.
Now, do you guys have a presence at the IBC?
The only presence I know of right now is vMix is going to be showing on XK80, running their live show, and actually giving it away.
Yes.
Monday for IBC. But yeah, we're certainly looking at that. We're also looking at BVE in February, I believe, January, February next year. So that's a possibility.
Gotcha. It's like this whole new world just opened up for you guys, and it's now time to explore it. And you know, it's non-traditional distribution channels for you too, in that sense.
Yeah. I understand that the BBC has X keys all over their studios, and they have had for years.
How about that?
But
very cool. Very cool. Now, do you guys just sell direct in the U.S. or do you have resellers too?
We do both.
Okay.
We sell directly from our offices here and off of the website. We're also in Amazon. We're also in CDW and Newegg, and there's somebody else. Full Compass is one of our resellers.
Okay. Outstanding. So there are lots of different places. If place number 1 doesn't have it, place number 2 may. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So the XKE-124, the T-bar, how long has that been out on the market?
We just released it at NAB this year.
Wow. Okay. So this is
we've been working on behind the scenes for several years, and it's shown, non-working versions and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just out. You guys are new. Okay.
Oh, cool. So the X Keys line of products like this, do they all sort of use the same basic technology internally?
Yeah, they're all USB HID devices. And although, when you look in vMix, Martin kind of identifies our button as a MIDI button. But it's not really. That's just the way he brought it in, because he already had all the structure, everything else in place for it. So it made really sense for him to do that. Anybody using our SDK, you're going to see it as a USB HID device and a data report from that.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's just vMix that you can plug this into, and it just works so beautifully. If you plugged it into a PC for different software, that software would have to be configured specifically for your controller.
That's correct. And there is not any native support for a T-bar. Our devices that have a joystick built in, you plug those in and your operating system is going to identify it as a USB device with joystick.
Uh-huh.
And it already has all the drivers and everything you need to work with something else. There is no native support for T-bar or for jog and shuttle either. So that's been another challenge for us.
That was my next question.
Yeah, we need somebody to take the data report and integrate it, make it do something.
Gotcha. So there are people out there that are writing software for a variety of purposes, and they're taking your product and they're basically customizing their software so that it works with your product plug and play. Is that what I hear you saying?
Another great example, somebody brought this up on the chat, is that John Bankston and his Just Macro software for ATEM, for Blackmagic ATEM, has done a wonderful job integrating our stuff. It's not for the faint of heart. I couldn't do it. It requires some knowledge of Lua script, but we have a number of people out there that have taken X keys and Just Macros and built incredible systems that are doing great stuff and are very reliable.
So it's not like vMix. It's not like that easy to make it work.
Not at all. So really, Martin did a wonderful job, and we were really, really pleased to have him write us into vMix.
He's talking about Martin, my cousin Martin. Yeah, we're 19th cousins. I know the guy. Yeah,
Aussie cousin. Yeah,
we're kin. We're kin. Good. All right. So I know. So this product is so fresh on the market. My question is probably going to be foolish, but I'm going to ask it anyway because that's what I'm known for.
Fire away.
What do you guys have on the horizon? I mean, that you can talk about.
As I mentioned, we're really early stages of adding rotary encoders to some designs. So for volume control.
Okay, gotcha.
That.
You mean knobs?
Yeah, knobs. Sorry, Tom. I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah.
A volume control.
Oh, that's it. A rotary encoder. Ooh, I'm putting that on my list. I'm going to impress people. Yes, there's rotary encoders on there. Yeah, I've got about 12 of them over here on my left.
There you go.
Okay, so go ahead.
If I can, the T-bar is actually using a patented technology that we have, and it's moving a piece of plastic in between two copper plates, and we're measuring the change in capacitance as that plastic moves and then determining the position. So it is never going to get dirty, it's never going to wear out, and it's fairly inexpensive to make.
Wow. I mean, that's the best of all possible worlds. Yeah. Cheap and lasts forever. Of course, you guys are going to sell a bunch of them, and then you'll go out of business because they won't get obsolete.
That is one of the unfortunate things about X keys is that they really don't break. So they don't wear out, and we don't get many replacement requests.
Oh, so you've got to have an expanding market. Well, that's good because you've got this whole new market that you guys can go to and have fun with. And end up on crazy shows like this and see. Giles is saying in the chat room right now, hey, Dan, we love knobs.
Yeah. Everybody loves knobs.
Giles, they're rotary encoders. Okay, so rotary encoders are coming. And how is that going to, I guess that's just going to be the HID communication portion of it that you guys would set it up that way also, right?
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay.
Similar to this thing with the T-bar where nothing will happen until somebody like Martin picks it up and takes that data report from the encoder and says, if the knob goes left, I'm going to do this, and if the knob goes right, I'm going to do that.
Gotcha. So the knob could be a volume control, it could be a fader, it could be a pan control. it doesn't matter. It's just going to go from 0 to 124 or whatever the number is.
Yeah, you have something similar, don't you? I think I saw a couple of weeks ago or on an old show that you have a controller with some sliders on it and some knobs
Yep.
and buttons. Very similar kind of deal.
Yeah, this is just the old Korg Nano Control, $59. Knobs,
Right.
sliders, buttons. It's great, but it's limited in what it can do, and it's certainly, you can't add new buttons to it. They fall off when you do that. Just
You need some hot glue.
yeah, that's right. Some Velcro. That way you can move them later. Yeah, gotcha. All right, so let's see. In the chat room, if you guys have got some questions, go ahead and line them up now, because I think they may have passed backwards into oblivion, because we need to try to wrap up the show. Dan has got lots of people he's got to go talk to about these great new devices. If somebody is interested in getting one of them now, they can go to Amazon, they can go to CDW, they can come to you guys at xkeys.com, and that's not XKeys singular, it's XKeys plural, and
Correct.
that they can have one of these by tomorrow if they order in the next 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. And if you order in the next 10 minutes, you can get 2 of them. No, that's
I'll throw in some steak knives. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I am so excited about this product. This is so very cool, because for folks that have fussed because there's not an affordable control surface, that is, they don't want to spend $3,000 to $5,000 for a control surface. Here it is, and not only is it here, but if you don't like the way it works, change it. If you're left-handed and you want to put this button on the other side, you can do that. And at least with vMix, it's just like falling off a log to change it all around. I'm in love with this.
And if you don't need the T-bar, we have much less expensive controllers. We start at $100 for a 16-key stick. $129 for that 24-key device.
Right.
And I haven't been on the site in a while, but I think it's $220 for an 80-key. Somewhere, $200 range.
Okay.
We do have other devices with embedded joysticks and jog and shuttle controls, but they have those devices. Martin has fully integrated the keys, but not the controls yet.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
haven't had a chance to talk to him to see if that's in the future, or if they just feel like the keys are enough, and most people want those, and that's going to be it. I don't know.
Well, I would think the jog shuttle would be pretty important. Hopefully he's going to go that direction.
What he can do with that for replay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, replay. And so what you're saying is, I gotta convert everything you're saying into the language that these guys in the chat room understand, because they can't handle big words like rotary encoder.
Yeah, it's a toughie.
Yeah, that's right. So I can give up a cup of coffee every week and afford to buy a controller that's going to run my whole show, or I can steal some of my vacation money and I can have something like this that I'm going to treasure for the rest of my life, because it's never going to wear out. This is too cool.
Right.
This is too cool.
Glad you like it.
Okay, so we got some questions here. Tommy wants to know if the XKeys XK68 joystick will mesh with vMix.
To this point, vMix supports the keys, but I don't believe they're doing anything with the joystick.
Okay.
But I just said that, and I'm trying to think of, he may actually be controlling pan and tilt, or you'd be able to configure pan and tilt with the joystick, just not zoom as of yet.
Okay. Because he's got the XKey controller that it's all configured. Plug it into vMix and away you go. And that's got pan, tilt, and zoom, so it probably would pretty easy to map that in. John says that you could just throw a bunch of different models at Martin and he would make support for them in no time at all. So it's very nice of John to speak on Martin's behalf.
Yes. And that is what we've done. We put a box together and sent it to Australia, and bammo, Martin came back and said, "Here you go."
Oh, really? You sent him more than one?
Well, one of
It was
each.
like Christmas?
Well,
yeah. Well,
Tim's
no, I didn't mean
response was,
bunches of the same one, but one of each.
Tim's response was something like, I feel like I got a Lego kit here," or something like that. We just felt he should have one of each for testing, because there's nothing you can theoretically put everything into practice, but until you're actually there punching the buttons.
Right.
So,
Right.
you
Oh,
gotta
that's
know
cool.
for sure.
All right. Now, some of the European guys are asking, is there any distribution through Amazon in Europe? Do you know?
I believe that KBS, Keyboard Specialists, actually has some X keys listed in Amazon, but I don't know how many.
Okay.
And if we wouldn't be selling through Amazon UK because we'd be competing with them. We don't want to do that. Plus, by the time we added the shipping and the VAT onto it, the price would be just as high as it is if you order it from our website right now.
Gotcha.
Which again, you can theoretically order from our website from the UK, but you're going to pay the shipping, and then when it lands, the UK is going to hit you up for that VAT. So it's not going to be cheap, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, yeah, gotcha. All right. Well, but if it's what you want, if it's what you got to have, it's worth saving up for.
Yeah, and it may still end up costing less than the alternative right now.
That's a great point. Yeah. Oh man, I'm just having fun playing with these keys here, and I'm not going to get any work done. Look at this.
Glad you can have fun.
But I mean, the engineering that you guys did in this, I mean, no wonder your name says engineering. It's PI engineering, folks, by the way. And I look, and not only that, but let me shift over to this shot for a second, because I was having so much fun when I was putting this thing together that I noticed that they've got these little pieces on the bottom that allow it to sit up at an angle, but they've also got little rubber pieces like that, and they're all attached to this little rail, but you can take that rubber piece out of here and you can put it in this one right here because it just slides right out. And it just, the engineers, somebody wasn't paying any attention to the engineers, and they let them do all these kind of tricks and toys just because they thought it was cool. And I'm loving this. This is great.
Yeah, and those rails on the backside could even be used to make a permanent mounting on something. You can thread a little hex bolt into that rail and bolt it down to something if you're afraid somebody's going to walk off with it. Especially in an environment like a church where you never know what kind of people are walking into those places. That was a joke.
Yeah, that's right. So it just took me a second. I was like, oh, maybe he goes to a different church than I do. So yeah, and I think the little flaps on this guy are something that are available as accessories too, right?
There is a steel box behind that unit that's actually holding a Nook, a small single board.
Gotcha.
We have a box designed for that if somebody wants to develop on a Nook or something like that.
So it would hold a Mac Mini. It would hold. Are these compatible with Macs?
This again, I don't know. Does vMix?
I don't care. I'm not a Mac guy, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure if vMix has a Mac version, but again, it'd be kind of up to them to take it and do something with it. For the other things, for the pure keys, we have compatibility. We have a piece of software that's free from the website that you can always send keystrokes or map to other things. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've got a Zotac little mini computer that probably would fit in there. You could run vMix on, and boy, it would just be built into the control surface. Wouldn't that be cool? Wow.
Yeah, and we have a little bracket there to hold a small monitor above it if you want. That's that picture that you showed. We actually made that for another engineering company here in Michigan. They're called HRS or HRE, high resolution systems or high resolution engineering, and they have a piece of control software that's running on that Nook that they sell to control a bunch of stuff. I'm not even sure what they're doing with it. It's over my head.
Gotcha. I'm loving it. Yeah, I was showing some photos last week in preparation for this show, and had this photo and had this photo that I thought was nice because I stole all these photos off the internet. Of course, I put in XKE-124 T-bar, and I got these great photos. In fact, there weren't but 6 photos on the internet by that classification, and this was photo number 6. So I said, what? But
that's
anyway.
a secret one we're working on.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to show that one yet. Oh no. Okay. Yeah,
so
that's the case.
I think almost all
in.
those photos came right off our website, so that's fine.
Gotcha. Yeah, very cool. All right, let's see if anybody else has got some questions here.
I see the wife made some engineers are the coolest.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to work with them.
Yeah.
But
That's right. I'm scrolling back
married
through.
to one though.
All right, let's see. No, I think we've answered most all those other questions. Gotcha. We're in good shape. Oh, here we go. John says, is it possible to rotate the keyboard 180 degrees, moving the T-bar to the upper left?
Sure.
You mean?
I don't see any reason why you couldn't.
You mean just turn it around like that? Is that what he's talking about? You think?
I think that's what he's talking about, and I believe you could.
So no extra charge. It's already there.
Charge, yeah.
Well, good. Well, Dan, I please give kudos to your engineers because we're just. I think I can speak for the folks in the chat room that they think this is really pretty cool too, and the fact that, of course, Martin Sinclair has taken the wonderful creation that you guys have come up with, and he's added a whole new purpose to it, which is, I think, is probably, well, maybe not a whole new purpose. Maybe you guys intended this all along, but it's certainly going to open up a whole new market, and I certainly wish you guys the very best in that, for sure.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, we just couldn't believe our good fortune and having somebody like Martin jump on this product and really see the potential in it and realize it for us. So we're just hoping somebody else does as well. And certainly wish all the best to Martin and hope that vMix takes off. And it's certainly a very intuitive software. Just a little bit I played with it. Good stuff and good people.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we're going to keep your number, and we're going to call you up again in the future when these Rotary Encoders get involved, and see if we can't get a sample of the Rotary Encoders to show the rest of the world, and maybe you'll come back on the show.
Sure. Anytime you invite me, I'd be happy to show up here. It's been fun.
There we go.
I enjoyed talking with you and watching the comments go by. If we miss some questions, guys, I put my email address on there, and I'll do it again. Feel free. I'm always open to listening. Thanks again, Tom. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, folks. This is Dan Slider from PI Engineering, and it's XKeys, EXKEYS.com is the way to get a hold of them and see all these cool things, including the XKE-124 T-bar USB controller. Boy, that's a mouthful. Dan's going to hang around for just a second, so if you're in the chat room, don't go anywhere. Prashana's got refreshments today. I earlier saw him say that he's got lemonade and then some other kind of Indian snack. So we'll see about that. Folks, thank you so much for watching today. If you're watching us live, we apologize for the technical difficulties in the middle of the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, hey, we're going to cut that part out so you'll never miss us. But if you get this far in the show, go ahead and subscribe, and that way you'll get notices in the future that we've got cool shows like this that we've put up on YouTube. Or even better than that, come in live on a Wednesday and watch us. We're on 3 o'clock Eastern time in the U.S. every Wednesday afternoon, and we'd love to have you. Oh, you know what? I got to tell you one more thing. Full disclosure, I'm Tom Sinclair. You already knew that. Streaming Idiots is a show. Eastern Shore Broadcasting is my company. And Eastern Shore Broadcasting, here we design and build custom PCs, streaming PCs for folks that need them, as well as market vMix. We're a vMix reseller. We resell for Magwell and also PTC Optics, and we've got some cool stuff coming up down the pike we're going to be introducing in the fall that's really going to be fun. So on behalf of Eastern Shore Broadcasting and Streaming Idiots, whoops, where are we? Down there. Tom Sinclair, thank you so much for showing up, and we'll see you next time. Y'all take care.